Now, some of you might remember Rod Blagojevich. He is the ex-governor of Illinois. Now, you might also remember that he went to prison for trying to trade President Obama's empty Senate seat for his own personal gain. So he's one of the rare instances of somebody who was deeply, deeply corrupt, who actually got punished for his corruption. So now why do I bring him up? Well, it's because Donald Trump is in favor of commuting his sentence. So now it's being reported that Trump, and it was reported up to last year, that he's been strongly considering a commutation of Blagojevich's remaining 14-year prison sentence. He was actually sentenced to about 18 years in prison for, trying to cash in on basically that Senate seat, doing corruption. And Donald Trump says, you know what? That is so unfair. In fact, let me give you this quote from him. He said, quote, "I thought he was treated unbelievably unfairly." Now, who's he said that against? Or said that about? He's also said it about, Paul Manafort. So, Michael Flynn. So you can see the kind of people that he says it about, right? They've been treated very unfairly, right? So he said he was given close to 18 years in prison, and a lot of people thought it was unfair, like a lot of other things. What? And it was the same gang, the Comey gang, and all these sleazebags that did it. And his name is Rod Blagojevich, and I'm thinking about commuting his sentence. Comey gang. Well, here he is, basically trying to undo what Comey had done, because he hates Comey, of course. So now, you might think that, hey, man, it sounds like Donald Trump's got an idea. I mean, he's all about commuting people's sentences, and he's commuted some good sentences, right? Well, that's actually not what Trump had done. But he had commuted the sentence of, and I forget her name now, but an African-American woman that was put in prison unfairly. So now, some of the stuff that he's done on that front, on not social justice, but criminal justice, has actually been not too bad. But I also think it was a little self-serving, right? So now, you would think it was Trump's idea, but in reality, like a lot of the criminal justice measures, it's actually floated by Jared Kushner. Kushner had told President Trump that pardoning Blagojevich would appeal to Democrats, according to one source. He also said that, or other advisors, I should say, told Trump that a pardon would be unwise, but a commutation would be received a lot better. So now, this is really telling, right? So now Kushner comes to Trump and says, you should commute this guy's sentence because he's a Democrat, and the Democrats will be in favor of it. This is how you can appeal to Democrats. That's really weird because Blagojevich is deeply corrupt. Now, me, as a progressive, why would I at all like the idea of commuting the sentence of a corrupt Democrat who tried to literally cash in on corruption? It blows my mind, right? Now, then again, maybe it's popular in parts of Chicago. There are some people, African Americans in certain districts in Chicago, that are like, no, I love Rod Blagojevich. What are you talking about? I think he was treated very unfairly. But for me, I don't care about him. He's not only part of the establishment, but he's also a criminal. So now here's my speculation, right? So now maybe Trump thinks if I commit a Democrat, then maybe the Democrats will let me commute one of my buddies. Somebody like Michael Flynn or Paul Manafort. Now Trump, we know this, he's transactional, right? So he thinks if I do something for you, well, then you're going to do something for me. Now, in this case, I let your guy go, your corrupt guy, because he only sees things in binary, Republican, Democrat, right? And then if I let him go and commute his sentence, then you will let me commute one of my guys that helped me with, or that were, part of the Russia investigation. That is my speculation, right? And So, look, if you want to argue, by the way, as some establishment Democrats are making this argument that putting him in prison for 18 years is too harsh, well, look, okay, that's one argument. I disagree with that. He's actually one of the few corrupt officials to actually be punished for that, and I want to see it stand. But that's me. That's my bias, and maybe I'm a little too harsh. That's up for you to decide. But for Kushner's reasoning, to me, it seems ridiculous. But again, you have Blagojevich, who's part of the Democratic establishment. You even have Eric Holder coming out. The guy who put him away during the Obama administration was like, you know, maybe we did treat him a little too harshly. Uh-oh. Now you have members of the Democratic establishment that are agreeing with Donald Trump to let a criminal go. Again, a corrupt criminal. So maybe they're right. Maybe it will appeal to some Democrats. I don't know. But my thought is that Trump's probably doing this because he wants to protect all his criminal friends and allow them to get away with what they did because he himself is a criminal. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.